The tale of a ginger cat named Bobby and a musician named Max. In an old house on the edge of Amsterdam, where ivy curled up the brick walls and the windows glowed with soft yellow light in the evenings, there lived a ginger cat named Bobby. His thick fur shimmered like copper in the sun. His whiskers were long and stubbornly bent in all directions, and his eyes, amber and wise, seemed to see far more than most. He didn't live alone. By his side was an elderly lady named Madame Vanderbloom. She baked apple pies that filled the whole house with warmth, wore a felt hat even indoors, and spoke to Bobby as if he were a person, or perhaps something even a little wiser. "Bobby, are you back on the windowsill again? You know how I worry," she would mutter softly, and Bobby would simply half close his eyes, purring gently as he watched the pigeons flutter past the window. But one day, everything changed. It was springtime. The breeze rolling off the canal still held a chill, but the sun already tickled the rooftops. That day, Madame Vanderbloom went to the market and didn't return. People came, took her things, whispered in low voices. Bobby didn't understand the words, but he felt it in his bones. She wasn't coming back. He waited by the door for several days, eyes fixed on the space where she used to appear. Then finally, he walked out. At first, just to wander, and then he got lost. So began his long street cat life in the big city.
Amsterdam looked very different when you had no home, no warm blanket, and no bowl of milk. Bobby darted down cobbled alleys, chased bold pigeons through crowded squares, and slept beneath park benches. Some people chased him away. Others felt sorry for him, but most didn't notice him at all. He fought with other cats over scraps in the shadows of back streets. He hissed, scratched, and swiped, but inside he remained good-hearted, just terribly hungry. Sometimes, when his belly ached too much, Bobby would sneak into people's homes to steal food from pampered cats. He moved silently, like a whisper, with feline grace, and then disappeared again into the winding maze of streets. He learned to hop on trams as they rolled by, just to warm up or nap on a soft seat. He even grew fond of the metro. It was warm there, and sometimes people forgot half-eaten snacks on the benches. But Bobby's heart still ached for home, for kindness, for someone to belong to. One especially rainy day, Bobby saw him. The boy stood by the entrance of Westberplein metro station, holding a guitar and playing something light and gentle. A few coins clinked in the open case before him. He was tall, slender, with shoulder-length dark hair that clung wetly to his face. His eyes, gray-blue, held both tiredness and kindness. "Come on, Max, no more sour notes," the boy muttered to himself under his breath. Bobby stepped closer, sat down, silently. He just sat there and listened. Max noticed him. "Hey there, where'd you come from? Lost, huh?" The boy crouched down, stretching out a hand. Bobby didn't flinch. He stepped forward and pressed his nose into Max's palm, then purred, truly purred, for the first time in what felt like forever. Max chuckled softly. Well then, looks like we're a team now, huh?
From that day on, they were inseparable. Max called him Bobby, not knowing that had always been his name. The cat followed him everywhere, to university classes, cafes, quiet corners of the park where Max would play for change. Bobby would curl up in his lap while Max played on the street. His classmates adored the cat. Someone always brought treats or little knit scarves. "Are you sure he's a cat? Not a walking ball of sunshine?" joked Annie, the girl who sat next to Max in lectures. Even the professors grew used to him. One day, Professor Gottenberg chuckled and said, "Max, if I could, I'd hand your cat a diploma for perfect attendance." Max only smiled and gently scratched Bobby behind the ear, where he liked it most. Life slowly began to shift. Max passed his exams. Then came the final recital. He graduated. He found a small flat by the canal, and the very first thing he brought in was a soft basket with a plaid blanket. For Bobby. "You were there when life was rough, so now I'll be here for you. Always." Bobby nodded, well, in his own cat-like way, then leapt onto the windowsill to watch the pigeons, but this time not to chase them, just to enjoy the view. Everyone in the neighborhood soon knew them, the ginger cat and the boy with the guitar. You could spot them in the park, at the university cafe, or perched on the library steps. Bobby purred whenever someone stroked his head, and Max, well, he still told terrible jokes, but people loved him all the more for it. Amsterdam is a big city. It's easy to get lost here, but if you're brave enough, clever enough, and just a little bit orange, you're bound to find someone. That's what happened to a cat named Bobby and to a boy named Max. Their story is about a home, one that can be lost, but also found again. If you'd like, I can help adapt this into a YouTube narration script with timing, pauses, music cues, or prep a subtitle file for voiceover. Let me know how you'd like to use it.
This story teaches us some of the most important things in life: kindness, attentiveness, and loyalty. Sometimes life brings us difficult moments. We may lose someone we love, feel alone, or find ourselves in an unfamiliar place. But even then, we must never lose hope. Just like Bobby the cat, even though he was scared and sad, he didn't give up. He kept going, and in the end, he found a true friend. And Max, an ordinary student with a kind heart, didn't turn Bobby away. He wasn't afraid of responsibility. Instead, he welcomed the little cat into his life and loved him. And in return, he received warmth and faithful companionship. This tale reminds us that each of us has the power to be someone's home, even if our own lives are not yet perfect. It also shows that true friendship doesn't depend on how we look, how much we own, or how successful we are. It grows from care, patience, and love. And perhaps most importantly, if you are kind, thoughtful, and open-hearted, the world will always lead you to someone who's been looking for you too. And so our fairy tale comes to a close. If you enjoyed the story, please give it a like, subscribe to Little Dreams Bedtime, and share your favorite tale in the comments below. Until our next magical adventure.